Hello, everyone. How's it going? Yes, it is a day. It's a Tuesday, and it's a little later in the day because I was doing weird mask stuff all day, and I'm really tired now. Plus, I threw my back out, so I can't really get out of this chair. So instead of sitting here complaining about the excruciating pain I'm in, I thought I would just do a video as long as I don't move quickly or sharply. Well, so that's fun. But the King in Yellow, Yellowtober. Ta-da! Um, a lot of you have already finished The Repair of Reputations. Some of you have already finished the book and told me about it, which is awesome. Um, Britt also found a really cool, I think it's on Horror Babble, the YouTube channel, that does like a really nice audio rendition of the 4 stories we're going to be hitting. So you could check that out too at Horror Babble, the YouTube channel. But for those of you who are following along on the Weird Mass site, today was chapter 2 of um, The Repair of Reputations. And the build-up is getting really good. So to give you like a brief breakdown, we meet Mr. Wilde, and he is quite odd. He has fake wax ears on like a metal thing that are kind of a pink color, but his skin's kind of yellow, so it doesn't really match. But he likes them. He has a flat, pointy head. So I picture him as like kind of like the pinheads, like in Freaks and old sideshows and stuff like that. He doesn't have any fingers on his hand, but it doesn't seem to bother him at all. And then, like, I thought it was hysterical that, like, he's like, and his thighs were as muscular as any athlete's. And so, anyway, so this guy is a repairer of reputations. And our main character didn't think that he could actually make money doing this. So he's just like reading off all these people and what their problems are and how much money they owe him, and tells them that he has 500 people working under him that are terrified of him and terrified of the whip and all this other stuff. Oh, God. But he has a cat that kind of likes him, kind of hates him. And so every time our Hildred goes and sees Mr. Wilde, he always has like new scratches on his face and stuff. And they start talking about something that is going to change everything. That they could have like 10,000 people behind them at the drop of a hat and all this stuff, and you're reading it going, what the fuck is going on here? And then Hildred goes to his house and gets into his timed safe where he has to wait, and in that waiting, the 3 1/3 minutes or whatever, he like just loves it. The anticipation is the most exciting thing of his day. And he gets out his beautiful crown and just gazes at it and then puts it back in the safe. Now, the crown probably isn't good enough for the King in Yellow, but it's definitely good enough for Hildred. Well, then things start to get a little more bizarre. He runs into his cousin Louis, and Louie's like giving him crap for hanging out with Mr. Wilde. And then they run into Constance and her father, the armorer, and they all go for a walk together and stand looking at the water. And while that's going on, he can hear Constance and Louis talking, but he can't make out what they're saying. And Constance's father starts saying, you could do this. Mr. Wilde, he's going to come up into some money. And he's like, he doesn't want the money. He doesn't need your money. And I don't like fishing anymore. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, pretty soon he'll have more money than anyone except me. And, and then he can't tell him, like, his big secret or whatever. And he's like, okay, whatever. And he's like, I know he thinks that I'm mentally disturbed. So I answer, no, my mind is fine. So he's like answering to a conversation that isn't taking place, which is hysterical. And as they're walking back, he can't hear exactly what Constance and Louis are saying, but he thinks he hears the words, my darling and sweetheart and my Constance. So now he has decided that he must have a word with Louis sooner rather than later. And this is where everything kicks off. Tomorrow is going to be such a fun read. So I highly recommend you getting catched. I highly recommend you get caught up if you haven't been reading The Repair of Reputations. It's really not that long, so and if you want to just go to the Horror Babble thing and listen to the whole thing, knock yourself out. I keep talking about Britt talking about it because me and her talked about it a bunch yesterday, but she went to just listen to the first part and didn't realize that it was the whole thing. And she's like, oh my God, that was so crazy. And I'm like, oh yeah? I'm like, oh, well, you haven't met Mr. Wilde yet. She's like, no, I have. I'm like, you have? Where did you? Oh, well, you don't know about this. No, I know about that. And I'm like, good God, did you read the whole thing? She's like, I don't know. So, yeah, like, I just broke it up into the 3 chapters that it's already broken up into. But, it doesn't have to be. You could just go for it. But if you are following along with me, tomorrow is going to be a lovely, lovely day. So we will enjoy that. We definitely, definitely will. So I might do my Write-tober video here in a minute. I'm not sure. I might just do it on my own because I don't know how I'm going to write at the minute or like type. So, yeah, we'll just leave everything at that. So until next time, everybody, goodbye.